Hi, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to this month's Digital Teaching and Learning Canvas Hour. So DTL is a conglomeration of instructional design and ed tech from the TCS ed system. So on the call with me, I'll be facilitating this hour. I'm Sean Newfer, the Director of Educational Technology. On the call with me, I have Tracy Dice and Mark Lavitt, who are both senior instructional designers, as well as Thad Stott, who is our instructional technologist. And so we're going to spend this hour walking through Canvas. Now, typically the Canvas hour will be an informal time for us to come together. People can come and ask us questions. We can chat about aspects and elements of Canvas, maybe some features. We can explore, troubleshoot. This month, since it's August and we're preparing for the fall start, this month will be a more formal session. So we're going to walk through Canvas and do a formal Canvas training. But just know that in the future, the first Wednesday of each month, September, October, November, we're going to have informal Canvas hours where we can just come together without a set schedule, and we can respond to questions and explore the functionality. And so I'm going to go ahead and change my screen and look at the second monitor. So first thing, this will be kind of an orientation of Canvas of sorts. So we're going to talk through an introduction of Canvas, logging on, explore the dashboard and the Canvas settings, your user personal settings. And then we're going to dive into a course and talk about the course basics. So creating announcements and home pages, navigating assessments, discussions, and things like that. So I'm going to duplicate this and hop over to this course. Oh no. All right. So the first thing to do when you log into Canvas, and you can log in either through the link tcsedSystem.instructure.com or through the gateway or portal sites. I'll go ahead and put this link right in the chat window, and that'll take you to the universal sign-on page if you're not already logged in to one of your Canvas or one of your accounts, whether it's the Chicago School or Saybrook University. Once you're logged in, then you'll be able to access this dashboard. And so the dashboard has various elements. For one is a course card setting here. These will be all the courses that you're currently enrolled as a teacher or a student, if you're a student through this account. For example, if you're auditing a course or such, you're probably not going to have this many Canvas cards or course cards. And each of these cards has a color and a title, and you can edit these elements by clicking on the three dots that are on the card. You can change it to whichever color you want. By default, there are 15 colors, that you can choose from among, but if you have another specific color that you would like, then you can enter the hex code here. A hex code is a 6 alphanumeric code that's an internet code for a color. Out of millions and millions of colors, each color on the internet has a unique indicator. And so if you know the specific color, then you can put that. You can also change the nickname of your course. Sometimes our courses are pretty complicated. You know, it might be Pro Seminar and Educational Technology and Facilitation. You can change that to something more simple to appear. So I could change this to POC Sandbox, for example. And that doesn't actually change any property of the course. It only appears how the course, or it only changes how the course appears to you on your dashboard, on your calendar, and such. And so it's a way that you can keep track. Sometimes the nomenclature is confusing, so you can customize the color and the name. And I recommend if you only have 3 or 4 courses or 2 courses, when you're doing colors, I really recommend choosing distinct colors one from another. So you can see if, for example, this Saybrook orientation course and this Sean e-learning course, the colors are very similar as opposed to this blue and the orange, and it really helps to distinguish one from another, which is important as we look at the calendar function later on. You have a to-do list on the right side of the menu. Students also have a to-do list. Their to-do list are assignments, includes assignments that they need to turn in or upcoming assignments. For you, the to-do list includes assignments that students have submitted that they need feedback. And as you do these, they'll disappear disappear, you can manually check them off if you already know, yeah, I've tackled this, I already know about that. And that way you can keep track of the high-level to-do list. For coming up, that would be assignments that are coming up in the next week or so. Students have that for things that they need to turn in. Feedback would be, on the student view, the feedback is if you leave written or video feedback on an assignment, then they would receive a notification. And if the students respond to that feedback, then you'd be notified as well. You don't have to worry about these other links over here. Now, the first thing you want to do, if this is your first time in Canvas, you want to click on the account button, and that'll pop up. And you can expand and contract this global navigation. Now, this navigation on the left hand never goes away. If you're in a course, if you're in the grade book, I think actually in SpeedGrader it might go away. I'll have to review it, but that's always here. It's the global navigation, and you have an account button right here. So if you pop that out and click profile, then you can see your name, your title. If you want to include a biography of sorts, that's up to you. I recommend it. And then I strongly recommend that you get a profile pic. That doesn't have to be a glamour shot from the mall or anything that you're proud of, but just something that resembles you, because it's really important for students to be able to associate a face with the name online, especially if you're an online professor and you don't have the face-to-face component, but it really adds some personalization. So if you click on the edit button there, you can upload a picture that you've taken. You can take a picture. I wouldn't choose anything from the Gravatar because you really want to have a face associated with your name. And if you need to edit any of this content, the narrative there, you can click edit profile, and there you can put your biography. You can put links perhaps to LinkedIn, or if you have a blog or a presence online, then you can put hyperlinks there. So the next thing I'll go to is settings. We went account profile, now I'm going to settings. The first thing that you want to notice is your time zone on the settings. Make sure that that's set correctly and identifies where you're from. Now I'm in Orlando, I'm on the East Coast, and so Canvas automatically adjusts all the due dates, the times, the calendar events to accommodate my time zone. That a lot of times I teach either in Central Time or Pacific Time, and so it's important that I set that to Eastern Time. Otherwise, my schedule might be different than the real schedule. And you also want to, when you're on your first day teaching the class, maybe even in an announcement before class starts, encourage your students to go into settings and make sure that their time zone is set correctly. Because the worst case scenario is if it's a course that's being taught in Central Time and the student is in California or Hawaii, then they might think, okay, so the assignment is due at midnight on Wednesday, and so they're working and maybe they turn it in at 11 o'clock thinking they're turning in the assignment an hour earlier, when in reality it's an hour late, or if they're in Hawaii it's even more late. And so you want to make sure that students, and especially if you have international students, you might have students from Korea or Africa or parts of South America, it's important that they can set that time zone so that the assignments are reflected to their time zone. And if you need to change that, if the time zone is off, you click on edit settings to the right here. Edit settings, there's a drop down and you can choose. It's a pretty simple drop down. Here's all the American times, and then they have international times as well below that. And so that's where they do that. If you go by a different name, you can edit the settings and change your display name. I wouldn't change the full name, and I don't encourage students to change the full name either, because that's how you're linked with the registrar, and that's an important name to keep legal. But if you're Robert and you go by Bob, then you can change that right here, and anytime you interact with announcements or participate in discussion threads, then they would see the display name. Students would see your display name. And you can encourage students also, if they want to be comfortable, then they can change the display name to what they go by. There are different ways to receive notifications from Canvas. Notifications would be course activities. By default, you have an institutional email address. Now I'm signed in through my administrative TCS Ed System email, but that could be pacificoaks.edu or the chicagoschool.edu. additionally, you can add other email addresses. So I could be, suppose I'm at Sean@Sean.com. That's not my email, and there might be an email with that name. I would click on register email, and that'll send an email to send a message to this email account with a link that you click on to activate it. And the same for a text. If you prefer receiving text messages, then you would just say, here's my cell phone number, your carrier, and then they'll send you a text message that you just have to click a link to respond to that. You can register as many emails, as many texts as you receive. Now, when I teach my classes, I tell students the same thing, that you can register as many emails, but I emphasize that students are accountable for checking their institutional email address every day, their email account. And so it doesn't excuse, just because I have a Gmail or Hotmail account linked to Canvas, doesn't excuse them not checking their institutional email addresses. And same for us as faculty. Now, if I register multiple emails, I can go to the notifications tab here. So we looked at profile, settings, notifications, and here I have various course activities and the frequency in which I receive notifications for those things. Now, there are 4 options. I can receive a notification right away, which means the instance and an activity happens in one of my courses, then I receive a notification that the activity occurred. Otherwise, you can have daily email summaries, which will send you 1 email a day, and it will include all of these that I have checked off as a daily summary for notifications, as well as weekly summaries. And I always forget when weekly summaries are sent out, but it's so Friday between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., which I assume is Friday 11 p.m. to Saturday 1 a.m. You'll receive a notification of everything that happened in the week up until that point. And you can choose for each activity, you can choose that frequency. Notify me right away, daily, weekly, or don't notify me about this thing at all. Now, the one thing that you'll want to tell your students when you teach your class is that announcements created by you, as you hover over these elements, it gives you a description of what that course activity is. The announcement is something that students really need to be notified about right away, because you don't, even a daily summary isn't enough, because if you post an announcement in your class, that's a way that you can disseminate information to all of the students at one time, and that you can know that they are receiving it because it's in the course. And so you want them to receive that notification at minimum to their institutional email address the moment that you post that announcement. And so I always encourage my students, I require of my students, you must select notify me right away for any announcement. Everything else I let my students pick and choose. Perhaps they want to subscribe to discussion posts every day or every week. They can choose, and you can hover over those to receive the descriptions of what those elements are. So I'm going to pause. So we talked about profile, settings, notification, the dashboard. I'm going to pause right now and take a few questions then. Tracy,
yes,
yeah, go ahead.
Bob is asking, with the first, he's asked 2 questions, Mr. Flax. Hi, Bob. It says, does the list tell you when individual student assignments need attention, or general category like grade assignment 2? I think he might be referring to the dashboard, because that question came in around the time you were talking about the dashboard. Like, he's wanting to know, like, for example, where are you going to get notifications like such and such turned in their papers, or this group of students turned in their papers, or this student has left you a message, whatever those things are. He wants to know if there's something for like individual student assignments, or is it just general information in that area?
Yeah, the to-do list is only things that you need to grade. So a student has a submission that needs your attention, it needs some feedback, and that will appear in the to-do list. If there's activity within the course, I'm glad you asked the question, because I didn't mention this. You can see all of the icons here. These represent various things. So announcements, assignments, discussions, files. If there's ever activity in the course that needs your attention, for example, in this is an orientation. These are all dummy courses, I believe. I think this is my administrative account. So there's not a ton of activity, but here in this orientation, I can see that there are 2 discussion posts. And I can click on that. I'm going to right click so that I don't lose my page here. And I can see where those discussion posts are. And I can see there's unread messages right here that need my attention. Anything that I haven't actually read has a blue dot next to it. So I happen to have not gone into any of these discussion forums. And then once I hop back out, let me refresh the page. That blue dot should have gone away right here for this discussion. And then over here, it notifies me how many unread replies to the discussion post there are, how many total replies are there. So that could be 100 total replies, and I have 15 that I need to read, or something like that. And you can receive those notifications right from your dashboard, so you can see which courses have a lot of activity. So you might want to address those courses first. But yeah, circling back to your question, the to-do list is things, assessments that need your attention in the gradebook, things that need to be graded. And your other question I see is, what are the advantages of multiple emails? It's really up to you. You might have a smartphone that you keep in your pocket all the time, and you are really good at checking that Gmail account. But for the institutional account, you have to sit down at the computer and actually log in to the computer. And so there might be certain course activities that you're comfortable having it sent out to your Gmail, just so that you can receive that notification right away. And I'm not going to tell you which course activities are more important to you and what frequency you should get them as, but it's just a way to stay connected. It's just an option that if you want something pushed out to something that's not your, Bob, in your case, your Saybrook email address, then you have that choice.
It's also really nice if, like someone said previously, if you check your personal email more, or if in the case sometimes the email servers go down at institutions. It happens. It doesn't happen here very often, but it does. And so you just have an alternative way to get with your students, because I've actually had that happen before. We were supposed to meet for a synchronous meeting, and the server went down, and they had no way to contact me to figure out what was going on. So that's also an additional reason why.
Yeah, that's a huge bummer, but planning for contingencies, that's what we have to deal with. Exactly. If you have, going back to the dashboard here, thank you for Tracy for notifying me of the questions there. If you have a course that you're teaching, but you're not seeing it there, a lot of times the course might not be published until right before the term start, but you'll have a list of all your courses in the tab right here. These are all the courses on my dashboard, so that's way too many. If there's a course that you don't see that you're teaching, for example, if this one, I know that this should be on my dashboard, I can click on the star. I can't add it. I think that's too old. So let's try this course right here. So I'll go ahead and star that. And if I know there's a course, for example, I don't need this on my dashboard. This is already passed. And maybe I don't need that one on. So unchecking the star removes it from your dashboard, and checking the star puts it onto your dashboard. And then when I hop over here, I don't know if we'll notice the difference really, but it should have changed slightly. I'm going to click on the calendar, and I'll try and run through the calendar in the inbox so we can get into the course. I'll try and go through this a little more swiftly. Let me try and find a month where I know there's activity. There's something in February. Let's see. No, I think I actually just unchecked a course that I had activity in it, so too bad for me. But I guess I can try and check on all these courses, see if there's something. No, sorry, I'm not having any courses, but if I do have a course with content in it, then that'll appear on this calendar page right there. And I have the option of having a weekly view, which I don't recommend because that's the week with hour by hour. There's a monthly view, which will give you the month calendar and a mini calendar to work with, and then the agenda view as well, which is more of a syllabus format, which I'm not seeing. Okay, here's something. So this is an old class, I suppose, and or this is the upcoming class. I guess, that I'm going to walk through. So there are events here, and it's more of a syllabus format, so sequential from by date. And it tells me the date. The icon tells me what kind of content, course content that is, whether a discussion or an assignment, the day, the time when it's due, and then the title. And these are all hyperlinkable, so that I can click on that and it'll take me right to that spot. Oh, here we go. So August, I have some content here. That would be, let me try and find, that's the Canvas faculty training course. If I had another course, so this is a very dark color. If I had two courses that were kind of the same color, then that would really clash and it would be hard for me to see the difference. And so that's why I recommend, if one course is orange, maybe make the other course blue so that they really stand out and they pop. Now, as an instructor, you be careful with the calendar page, because you can drag and drop these and it'll change the assignment due date. And if you change the assignment in one place, that'll actually change the assignment everywhere in that course. So on the syllabus page, on the modules page, on the assignments page that lists all the assignments, as well as the individual assignments page. And so that can be a good thing if there's a mistake. Here's an example of this course. What course is this? TOPS 2018 Master. I don't want to delete that, no. So I have two courses on my calendar right here. Oh, come on. Let me scroll down. I can have two courses right here. You see there's not much of a color difference. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color of one of those to something like pink. And I'll apply that. And now you can see the difference between the pink, and that's kind of like a dark, deep purple. I might even try something, oh, come on, click. Let me refresh this page. I apologize, it's acting out on me right now. But it's good to have a kind of a clash. Make sure the colors really clash so that they stand out one from another. So maybe a teal. So I have a dark purple color and a teal. Now the teal is not as good either. And if I change that, then, come on. So this page is giving me problems. I'm not able to scroll up right now. I'm going to refresh that once again. Bear with me. It's refreshing. I'm going to hop back up to the agenda view. And you can see that there's a difference in color between these various assignments. And so if I change this to something of an orange color, then you can see those assignments really popping between each other. And so that can be really useful. So these are also, you can toggle them on and off. So I can turn off the orange one and look at only that one course, or I can look at all my courses together. So the inbox is pretty straightforward. I don't have activity here, but if I were teaching courses, then I could sort by which course I want, or I can just have all courses, every course that I'm teaching. I'll have an inbox. I can see everything that is unread, everything I've sent. If I want to send a new message, now messages that come in will be on the left hand here. It'll be the sender and the title, and maybe like the first part of a sentence, and as well as a timestamp. And if you click on that, it'll appear in the main window right here for me to send a message. I click on the send icon, which is a square with a pencil, to compose a new message. I choose which course am I going to send this to. And you'll have people enrolled. You'll have teachers, which will be you, as well as students, and you'll be able to select the students for that course. Let me see if I have a course that has doesn't look like this has anything either. Let me try. No, nobody's enrolled, but you'll have a student list right here. You can either click on the student that you want or start typing out their name. So there's no results, but if I had Samantha or Samuel, you just start typing and it'll give you suggestions, and then you can click on that. Put your subject, put your body, just like a regular email, like you're used to sending. You do have the option, if you have a message, suppose it's I haven't received your essay that was due last night, then you can write the subject, the body, and if you're sending it to more than one student, you can send it as an individual message to each recipient, so you don't have to type out the same message 4 times if you have 4 students you're trying to reach. it'll just send out 4 different emails, but you only have to click send one time. As opposed to if you're trying to email a group of students, maybe all the students, and you want them to be able to see each other and respond and have a dialogue, like an email dialogue, then you would uncheck that. You can include attachments, you can include multimedia, record a video for your students and send that with your message as well. So at this point, we're going to jump into a course. This is not the course I wanted. Okay, bear with me. I have a course that I wanted to walk through. I called it Canvas. Oh, no, I'm not seeing it. I just created it this morning and it's not showing up. So let me walk into this other Canvas course here, the Canvas training. So this is Canvas 101. So you'll have a home page. Now my asterisk here, depending on your department or your institution, you might not be able to change your home page. There are options, such as you can have a custom front page. If you work with an instructional designer, they're going to build a custom front page, or you might have the modules list. But just check with your department on what template they have for their home page. Otherwise, this will be what your home page looks like. I'm going to note that your course, once it starts, it'll be published. You don't have to click the publish button. Typically, that'll just be published automatically for you. I'm going to hop into settings, but note that talk to your department before you make any changes to settings. The only thing I'm going to note is that the time zone should reflect the time zone where your course is being taught. So if you're teaching at the Chicago school on the Chicago campus, this should be Central Time. If you're at Pacific Oaks or Saybrook, that will want to be Pacific Time. And if that's not correct, then just notify your department chair or your department manager. And then navigation, the left-hand navigation, sometimes that's set. And if you see that it's wrong, then this can be changed. Talk to your department chair about that if you think that there's something wrong with the navigation on the left. Sometimes it happens. And the other thing I want to show in settings is there's a student view. Students see the course very differently than faculty do, so it might be a good idea every once in a while to click the student view button. It's going to give you a fuchsia border saying that you're currently logged in as a student, seeing the course as a student, and that can just be a valuable thing for you to note. And then click Leave Student View to get back to their main page there. Let me see if I'm going to hop over to a D&I course. If there are D&I people on the call, then you might remember this course from the past, but just because it has a little bit of content in it. And I can't find that page that I created and I didn't bookmark it. I was real smart of me. So we're going to walk through the course basics. First thing you want to know is how to create an announcement. You have an announcement section right here in the navigation. Click on that tab, and that's going to be shaded out like these other pages are until you create the first announcement. So students aren't going to see an announcement button or a link until there's an announcement in there. And once you post that first announcement, then it will be in there. So if I delete this comment here and refresh the page, then that will be grayed out. And now the students, they'll see home, modules, assignments. They won't see announcements until I create this announcement here. To create the announcement, you need a topic title. And so this could be welcome to class or guidelines for instructions or discussions, and you can choose that. You'll have a rich text editor right here, so you can put my content in. My content, welcome to the semester. And since it's a rich text editor, you can edit basic things like bold, italicize, you can change the color, the font, the justification. You can insert bullet points. I can put first bullet and second bullet. You can insert pictures, either upload a picture or insert a picture from the web. And so this could be, if you have a picture, now you want to make sure that you have access to the picture. Here's one from Wikipedia, and so I can copy the image address. I know this is getting a little bit fancy, but just to know that this is available. And it's asking for the URL, so I'll go ahead and paste the address that I just copied. And it's going to have the dimensions. I can change that maybe to 300. You want some alt text, so this would be a picture of a school, and that's good for accessibility reasons. Update that, and then I have a picture right there. Other elements that you can do, if you hop over to YouTube, you can embed YouTube videos. So here's a video. I will just copy that before it starts. And then all you have to do really is paste it. You paste it as plain text, hit enter, and you can see a placeholder. And this will be a video, and it's a video that students can play once this is published. Other options, now this is going to get a little sophisticated, but if you have content that you want to embed into a page, just know that you can embed content as well. Let me just browse. I'll browse something. I think it has to be my own content. All right, I'm going to grab a sway and embed a sway. So here is, this is one that I use. So if you have something like a sway or thing link or a Padlet and you want to embed it, then you can grab embed code and copy it. I know this is sufficient. We have other webinars that cover this in much more in depth, but just for those people who know how to embed, there are two ways to embed things. You can insert media and you can insert the embed code this way, or there's an HTML editor that you can go into the editor and embed the content that way. So those are the basic things that you can do with an announcement. You can add text, pictures, videos, you can embed content. And if you have specific questions about those things, then feel free to reach out to our teams and we can walk you through that. We're just kind of doing the basic overview of the announcement. You can attach a file if you have something that you want to attach. You can also delay posting, which is a very valuable feature, because that allows you to do many posts at the beginning, like announcements at the beginning of the term that you can space out throughout the term. So I can do something for week 5. I can put something for the 29th of August, for example. You can allow users to comment. So you post the announcement and then they can have a discussion thread underneath the announcement. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now you can see my announcement. It's called Welcome to Class. I have a little bit of content. I have a picture. There's a video that plays in there, and then there's a sway that's fully interactive within my announcement. And I can see that this announcement will publish on August 29th at 12 a.m. and that it's closed for comments. If it wasn't closed for comments, then students would be able to respond down here, which might be valuable for you. You might have an announcement. Do you have any questions about the assignment due this week? And then they can ask questions and you can respond to the questions. So that's announcements. We talked about creating, editing, delaying announcements. We covered homepage options, navigation options. You can change the navigation. If your department allows, then you can change the order of the navigation there. The rich content editor is standard. We looked at the announcement content editor. It's the same for discussions, for assignments, for quizzes, and for pages, regular pages within Canvas. Now we're going to look at assessments. I have some assessments here, and again, my D&I people help me create a lot of these, but if I want to create a new assignment, then I click the big blue button in the corner there, and I put the assignment name. So this could be, it could be the Module 2 written assignment. And you put the instructions right here. See if I have any. I happen to have some lorem ipsum somewhere floating around there. So those would be the instructions. Same as the announcement, you can put pictures, you can put hyperlinks to other things, you can record videos, embed elements, drop a YouTube video in here. The canvas is yours to work with. And you put the assignment, if you're creating the assignment. Now, if you're working with an instructional designer, they'll help you with all of this. If you're creating this by yourself, then just make sure that the points are aligned. You probably want to display it as points. There are other options that you can explore. How are they going to turn this in? Is it going to be a file upload? Are they uploading a document or a PDF? Do you want to make sure that it's a PDF and not a document? Then you can put a list of acceptable extensions, such as PDF or maybe docx. Is this something that Turnitin needs to assess? If so, then you can enable Turnitin. There are a lot of other options that are great, such as peer review. I love doing peer review work, which would be students can assess each other anonymously. And then you can put the due date, make sure the due date is correct. So maybe August 22nd. You can even put a time, such as this assignment opens on the 15th, and they have until the 23rd to submit it. And you can assign it to everybody, or you can assign it to certain people, such as if there's a student who needs a special accommodation and you need to extend the date for that student, then you can do that. You would add, and you can assign that to, put myself, if Sean needs an extra 24 hours or 48 hours for accommodations, then I can put a special due date for that person. And right now I'm working in a draft state, so I can go ahead and save this. Now let me delete that. It's not letting me save it without a due date for Sean. So here's my Module 2 written assignment, the instructions, all of the details. This is not published, so students can't see this. It's not going to appear in the modules view. It's not going to appear on the assignments page until it's published. So this is called draft state. And that allows you to make modifications without students seeing all of your modifications. And if you're ready for that to go out, then you can go ahead and click the publish button, and then it'll be published out to the students. Now, they might not have access to it if you didn't give them availability until August 15th, for example. But yeah, so discussions are very similar to assignments. Let me go to the discussions page. Now, the assignments page in the navigation here also includes discussions, because discussions are a form of assignment. So here I see written assignments, I see quizzes, I can see discussions, and you can tell by the icons which is which. A piece of paper with a pencil is, it says quiz, but that's a written assignment or a regular assignment. A spaceship, I believe, is a quiz. I don't know why they use that icon. And then the chat bubbles here, the chat boxes, are discussion assignments. But if you want to look at only discussions, then you have a discussions page here, and those would be your discussions. And you can pin certain discussions, which in the student view, those will appear at the top of the page. I can add a discussion by clicking that big blue button, and it's very similar to the other interfaces that we've looked at. Here I have some text. I can drop in a YouTube link. Allow threaded replies. I can include attachments as well if you want to. Threaded replies means, for one, students can respond to this discussion post, and do you want other students to be able to respond to those initial threads? Yes, you probably do. I don't know of many situations where you don't want to have threaded replies. Typically, you'll just want that to be checked. Is this a graded assignment? How many points is it worth? Is it peer-reviewed? What's the due date? I can put the due date as maybe next Sunday, or a week from Sunday, and save. Right now I'm in draft mode still, so I'm going to save this. Students can't see it quite yet until I hit that publish button. But here's what my discussion is looking like. I have some intro text, I have a video, and then when I click reply, you'll notice I have that same rich text editor, which is pretty exciting because that means I can go ahead and copy this, for example. Now, since there's no content, I'm just going to hop over to the HTML editor, and then I'll post the reply. And you can see that my response in the thread has interactivity to it. In this case, I put a sway, This could be a thing link. It could be a Flipgrid interaction or a Padlet. And then other students who reply to this one have the same options. They can, what was that, alt text, alt thread. Oh no, not alt text, sorry, I messed up there. The URL I put right here. If you want to insert a picture that you've already uploaded into Canvas, then you can sort through your files and find those pictures. Oh, here's a good picture. Why wouldn't I use that? My alt text is cat with a hat. Upload that. Okay. Boy, that's an awesome picture. I wonder where I got that. You can also search for Flickr, Creative Commons, and that's really just to emphasize the message. And so I might search for Classroom, and it's going to search for Creative Commons, meaning all of these are free to use. You don't have to worry about copyright or anything. You can just click on one of these. It includes the alt text Classroom right there. I'm going to put this as maybe 300 wide, so it's not too big. And so you can emphasize your text that way. And I'm going to post the reply so you can see the threading is working. Here's the initial post. Oops, and here's the reply. And I would really encourage students that not only you, I encourage you to be interactive with your posts. I know we're in academia and this is higher education, but don't just have text as your sole purpose of interacting with the students. Include pictures, include videos, include anything interactive, anything that will really emphasize the content that you're trying to, the message that you're trying to deliver, and then encourage your students to do the same thing as well. It shouldn't all just be text replies to each other. We want to have pictures of ourselves. We want to have anything that really helps the learning and teaching processes. So that is discussions. We can look at quizzes just briefly, because I still want to cover the gradebook and help desk. But quizzing is a feature in Canvas. It's a pretty good feature. To create a quiz, I clicked on New Quiz. You can title the quiz. So this could be midterm review or whatever. I know not all of us are heavy into quizzes, but you know, the research is out there. Quizzing is a really good way to really solidify the retention of information. So even if it's low stakes quizzes, even if it's a no stakes quiz, it's always good to have that review content out there. So I have a title for my quiz. There's the quiz instructions, which I'll put as my boilerplate text here. And that'll be the first page that they see. This quiz covers the materials in unit or module 4. And you have 60 minutes to complete it, or 10 minutes, or 2 seconds to complete it, whatever you want. And then you can just go through the options. Is it a graded quiz? Most quizzes are graded, but you can also have surveys if you just want an opinion survey or a practice quiz, so it wouldn't reflect in the gradebook. Then you have options there. You can shuffle the answers, which could be good if it's multiple choice answer, except for if one of the answers is all of the above. You don't want to shuffle that and have that be the first choice is all of the above and there's nothing above it. You can set a time limit if you want, 15 minutes. Allow multiple attempts. If you click on that, then which attempts, if they take it 3 times, which one do you want to keep? The highest, the latest one, the average of all their scores? How many attempts should they get? Should they get 3, 5, 2? So you can check on those. And then once the students take the quiz, can they see the correct answers? Can they see it at a certain time? Let them see correct answers starting tomorrow, for example, and then hide the correct answers the day after tomorrow. So you have those options. Can they see only after their last attempt or only after each attempt? Do you want to show one question at a time? And do you want to lock the questions after answering? Which that's what the standardized tests, the GMAT, the GRE, SAT, you take one question at a time or one page at a time, and then you move on and you never go back. And that might be useful if the answer later on would be given earlier. So like which of these theories talks about, you know, various components of psychology interacting with each other to form one thing? And the answers might be Gestalt theory, constructivist theory, Bayesian Big Bang Theory, you know. And so that might be one question, and then later on, 5 questions down, it might have a specific question about Gestalt theory. And so you don't want them to going back and reviewing their answer and changing it because of a hint they got at a different point in the quiz. So you can consider those options right there. Do you want them to require an access code? So is it a course code, IO527E? Filtering IP addresses I won't go into, but that would be machine by machine. Only certain machines can take this, only certain computers can take this quiz. And then the assignments, due dates, when is this quiz due? Maybe it's due tomorrow. Do you want to make any exceptions for any specific students, any accommodations, I would say? And then I'll go ahead and save that as is. Oh, I don't want to select that. I don't want an IP address. So there's the quiz, but I don't have any questions. And so I have all the settings. To add the questions, I click edit, and there's a questions tab right here. I can add a new question, maybe a question group if I've already created questions. I can do multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blanks, a lot of different options. Drop downs, for example, is it an essay question? Do they have to upload a file as the question? So multiple choice, here's my question. My question is this, only it has a question mark at the end. So there's my question, and then my answers. I could say, I don't know, uno, dos, tres, and 4, so just to be consistent. And the correct answer, which one is that? Maybe it's dos. You can have feedback for each one. If they guessed uno and it's wrong, you can give them some feedback. Oops, I deleted that on accident. You can give them feedback for the entire question, right or wrong or neutral. Update question, and now the question's in there. I can go back and edit that. That's 1 point. I meant to put that worth 10 points or 5 points. Each question's worth 5 points, for example. So I'll go ahead and change that, edit that, and then I can see the question and that it's worth 5 points. I can add a new question, and then it can be true, false. You know, good is good. Is that true or false? Yes, it is true. Good is indeed good. And then I can save that. So now I have a 2-question quiz. One is worth 5 points, one's worth 1 point, so a total of 6 points. It's unpublished, so only teachers can see this. The students can't see this until I click that publish button. So that way your quiz can be in draft mode. And once it's published, then it'll appear wherever you have it, on the assignments page, on the modules page, for example. All right, so speaking of modules, let's hop over to the modules. This is the layout of the course, and these are my friends from DNI. Typically, this would be, for example, a course home page that might have a syllabus, maybe a course document, Turnitin expectations, discussion expectations, maybe an Ask Me Anything instructor page or discussion thread so that students can ask the instructor questions. The other modules might be Module 2, Module 3, have module overviews, content pages. You can change these around by dragging and dropping. As the instructor, the students they don't see it the same way. It's just set for them, but you can drag and drop. You can move things from one module to another module. Anything that is like a circle with a line that's a slash through it means it's unpublished, and students can't see that. Even if the page is published, if the module is not published, then they won't be able to see any of this content until it's published. And you can publish it by clicking on the publish icon right here, or on any of the individual pages as well. There will be a published or an unpublished thing. So if it's unpublished, it appears clear, and if it's published, then it appears green with a big check through it. Now you can have a module that's published with a page that's not published. So for example, students could see this module, they can see 2 of these pages. This other page they wouldn't be able to see until you publish it. And so if you have students that are contacting you saying, I don't see any of the content, then that's because it just needs to be published. And when you publish a module, it automatically publishes everything within that module without you having to do that. All right, so let's look at SpeedGrader. How are you going to grade assignments? So there's a grades link in the navigation here. SpeedGrader is pretty exciting. I think I have different maybe standards for what is exciting and what is not. Fortunately, this page has nothing nothing that has been graded. So bear with me. I'm just going to go to student view real quick. And I'm going to go to an assignment and just submit an assignment. So something that's, maybe that's Sesame Street. That looks really fun. Let me take that quiz. No, let me get something that is an actual page to turn in. So homework 3, or apologies, I saw my name. So since I did this assignment, oh, come on, Sean. No due date. Let's edit this and give it a due date. The due date is today, and it's worth 1,000 points. And I want them to submit something online, a file upload. I'm not going to restrict it, not going to do turn it in. I'm just going to save that so that now I can go into the student view. Hop over to this assignment. Now I have something that I can turn in. So students are going to have there will be the instructions right here, the due date, how many points, what kind of file am I, or what kind of submission am I expected to do, the name of the assignment, and then up right corner, submit the assignment. So to submit the assignment, they will choose, I'll have to find something to submit. I don't know. I'll choose that media file right there. I'm going to put my comments if I want. I'm submitting this thing, choose another file, submit the assignment. Oops. Are you submitting? And now I can see, I'm still a student right now. I can see that I have submitted. There's a big check mark right there. I can see what time I submitted, some details. I can see the file that I submitted. If I screwed up and I need to resubmit it, there's an option right there as well. So I'm going to leave the student view right now and see this. Now I'm a teacher again, and I can see that I can download all the submissions, and I can see that 0 out of 1 submissions have been graded, which means I have some work to do. Somebody submitted, and ideally that number is going to be something like 15 out of 15 submissions graded. Then you can pat yourself on the back, and because you've done all your work. If not, then you know that there's some work to do. So I'm going to click on SpeedGrader, which I can also get to by clicking on the Grades tab over here. If I click on the Grades tab, it'll give me a matrix of the entire class, which as of this moment is just a test student since nobody submitted. A matrix of which students have submitted. If it's late, then the box will be pink. And if they've already been graded, then there will be a number associated with that. I can see that this student has a submission for this assignment. And if I click on the drop down here, if I click on the details here, I can see more details in the SpeedGrader. From here, as an instructor, I can give this person a grade. Say you get 900 out of 1,000 update grade, I can add comments. But if I go to the SpeedGrader, it takes me to an app that's a little bit more sophisticated, where if I have lots of students, there'll be a drop down and I can see all of the students. I can scroll to the next or previous students. I can see their submission. I can give them a grade from here. 900, I can say, great job or mediocre job, do better. You can be more gentle than me. Add attachments, I can add media. So for adding media, that's something we didn't cover. I intended to cover in the other page there. You can add a webcam video or a microphone recording, or you can upload a video or audio. So for example, if right here, it's asking, this is my first time loading this up. Can Canvas access your camera and microphone? If they can, I will allow it. And then select the camera. Scoot over to here. Okay, so here's my camera. I can hit a recording and I'll stop it. So it doesn't turn out super great, but I can save that and then it uploads a video. So I can have my comments, I can have a recording where I can talk to the student and say, you know, here are my impressions of your assignments. These are the things you did well. And it's just that personalization. It's just good to have a face and a voice with a name so that you're not just some entity on the interweb, that you can actually be meaningful to your students. So I suggest utilize that. If you want to speak out your comment, there's a speech recognition tool. You can play around with that. You click record and click the record button again. So here's my feedback. I think that you did an okay job. You can improve in points A, B, and C, but you did really well with points D, E, and F. So next week, I look forward to your submission. Blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you the text right here. I can submit that. You can see it doesn't do a great job. It gets maybe 85% of it right. There's no punctuation, really, no sentence breaks. So you want to edit that before you do that. But if you're comfortable speaking your feedback, then that's an option for you.
Sean,
you'll have some. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a break time. Bob has an excellent sort of comment suggestion that might be worth looking at and addressing. You see it there?
There's a lot of activity.
The very last one at the bottom, Bob's comment.
All right, so SpeedGrader frequently used to crash after working on a paper for a few hours. So now download the papers, grade them, track changes, and then upload them back into the shell for students. And then asking, have the SpeedGrader problems been fixed, or should you keep doing what you're using? That's a tough question to answer. I think in general, SpeedGrader has gotten a lot better. And if you remember in the past, like a year ago, SpeedGrader was using a platform called Crocodocs, which was a third-party platform that you can use to edit papers. And nowadays, they're actually using something different. They've used their integrated platform, and it's much more stable. In terms of crashing, in general, Canvas has done a lot better. And in fact, Mark and Thad are on the call with me. We're at InstructureCon, which was the Canvas user conference last week, and they gave us the stats for their uptime. And it's amazing. It's 99.992% uptime, which is an average about 3 minutes every month. They experience some kind of failure, and usually that's in the early hours or late at night. So it has gotten a lot more stable, but you know, technology, it just has issues. You know, we had issues with GoToWebinar last week, and this and that break. And so I'm not going to discourage you from downloading papers and editing them and then putting them up into SpeedGrader. I am more confident in SpeedGrader in editing documents than I was a couple of years ago, but it's so much better now. So yeah, it's a hard thing to endorse. I don't want you to discourage you from doing that. So yeah, the problem was with Crocodoc, and it was kind of an awful it was good at the time when it came out. It was when it was avant-garde, it was a great thing, and now I think it's better. So that's my non-answer right there. We're at the hour, so I would like to upload a document and show you how to edit that, but unfortunately I'm at the hour, so I don't want to keep you any longer. My final note will be, if you ever have issues, you can reach out to us, Instructional Design, EdTech, but you have access to 24/7 Tier 1 help just by clicking the help button on the global navigation. You can search the Canvas guides, you can report problems. There's a 1-800 number. If you want a quick response, I think the best option is actually to chat with Canvas support, and they can talk you through just about anything. And so I'm going to finish the formal portion of this training. We have this recorded, but if anybody wants to chat, I can linger for a few more minutes if you have specific questions that you'd want to talk through. We can also unmute you if you want to chat with us. Let's see, Mark, Tracy, Thad, did we? I see you guys were super active in the things. Did we pretty much respond to all the questions that came up?
It's looking that way to me, yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think we addressed everything, but obviously if there's anyone still on that didn't get answers to their questions, please speak up or write them down again if we overlooked anything.
Yeah, somebody was saying they liked the picture of the panda on the course shell. I can't remember which course was that. Was that a Canvas orientation? Oh no, that was the InstructureCon 0017. And you can go into the settings of your course if you want a picture in there, but that's actually an animated picture. It's a GIF, so it's one that just keeps moving back and forth. And but yeah, if you have a picture that's appropriate for your course and you have the rights to that picture, then you can make it. You know, if it's like a history course, you might have a Declaration of Independence or something. You can put a picture as the course tab, and it can be animated. Though that's super distracting, but I think it's cool anyway. All right, I think we're wrapped up then. Yeah, like that said, reach out to us if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and stop this recording. We'll put it up on YouTube later today. Thank you everybody for attending and listening to me, and I hope that you were able to pick up some things about Canvas. Or if you're new to this, then I hope this was a fun exploration of the platform. Thanks, Thad and Mark and Tracy. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, see y'all next month.
Thanks. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.